Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video we will continue the installation of Octoprint onto a Raspberry Pi and connect it to our SLA printer. If you haven't seen my previous video where we do all the hardware, please check the video description or the upper right corner on your screen. So let's get started. On the screen you'll see a text file with a step-by-step guide with all the processes and steps that we are going to take right now. First things first, we need to install Raspberry Pi Imager app. You can get that straight from the Raspberry Pi website. Just scroll down and press download. I have already done it, so I'm just going to launch it. And here we go. Now we are going to choose our OS for the Raspberry Pi, so other specific OSs, Octopi and Octopi Stable. Then plug in your SD card onto your computer, select storage and select your SD card. After that, press Ctrl-Shift-X to bring up a hidden menu where you can activate or enable SSH connection to the Pi. Type in your password for your SSH connection. Activate or enable config Wi-Fi and type in your SSID and your password for your Wi-Fi connection. However, because I'm on a laptop and I'm connected to the same network, this will be automatically filled in for me. We press save and write to start writing to the SD card. This will take a while, so I'm going to fast forward so the video doesn't get too boring. And it's finished. We can close all the windows. Remove the SD card from your card reader. Plug it in to your Raspberry Pi and boot the system. This will take a while for the Raspberry Pi, if all goes right, to connect to your Wi-Fi and gain an IP address. In order for us to access our Raspberry Pi, first of all, we need to scan our network to check which IP the Pi has, or you can look at your router, your network router on the HTTP table to see what IP was given to her. To me, I prefer using a network scanner. In my case, I'm using NetScan, but you can use any other network IP scanner you can find. For example, Angry IP scanner is also an option. So what we'll do is we'll start our scanner app. We'll put in the range of our network. In my case, I'm on the range 1, and I press start scanning. I will have to redo this process a couple of times up until I see Raspberry Pi coming up on my list. So bear with me. And here we go. Our Raspberry Pi, it's on our Wi-Fi connection, and I already have an IP of 71. Now I can close the window and connect via SSH to my printer. The easiest way to do it is download PuTTY from the PuTTY's original website. Just simply use the one suitable for your system and install it. I already did that, so I'm going to start PuTTY. Here on the host name, I'll type the IP address of my Pi. Make sure that's on SSH and press open. A prompt will come up. No worries, just accept it and use the credentials that you already configured on the beginning of this installation. For the Raspberry Pi, the login is always Pi and the password is the one you chose on the beginning of the installation. Once in here, we need to update the Pi. So we just copy the command from the text file and simply paste it. It will ask you for the Raspberry Pi password. Just type it. And here we go. This will take a long time to do. So I'm going to move fast forward the video and I'll see you in the end. In this question, we will need to answer yes. And it will continue. I'm going to pause the video up until it finishes. And we are back. After all the updates, we should reboot the system. And by that, simply type sudo reboot. Put in your password. And here we go. One thing I'm going to do is ping my Pi on a loop to see when it's reconnected. So right now it's down. I'm going to close PuTTY and wait for a minute. And here we go. It's pinging. Up next, we're going to download the Chituboard script that will do the installation and configuration of most of the modules we need. So for that, we'll connect to the Pi. Log in with the user Pi with the password you chose. And simply copy this command. Right click, copy, go to PuTTY, right click to paste, and start. It's downloaded. Now we need to make it executable. So we copy the second command, paste it, and now we need to run it. This will be a simple installation. If he asks you to change the password, just say no and continue. What's going to happen is it will reboot and we'll have to run it again and we will see a new set of messages. And here it is. We go back to PuTTY. We connect again. Log in. And you can simply now copy this command again and run it a second time. And it will start to do a pen drive, a virtual USB pen drive for your Pi. Please bear in mind that this will take a long time as we are going to build a 4 GB virtual pen drive. What this means is if you want to change this for 16 gigs or more, you'll have to edit the script and you'll have to do some changes. What I would advise though is 4 gigs is more than enough for most of the printing we do. Now I'm going to pause the video and go for a coffee break, as this will take a couple of minutes to do. Be right back. And we are back. Now Samba asks us if we want to modify the DHCP table. We'll say no. Now we have to reboot. We press yes and enter. I'm going to call my ping again. And we can close PuTTY. And we're back. It's pinging. We can open PuTTY and carry on. Log in. Now we have to configure our serial port. So for that, just copy, go back to PuTTY and paste. The serial connection is what's going to be used to communication between the Pi and the printer. So we have to go to Interfaces. We select serial port. On the first question we answer no. On the second we answer yes. We press OK. Then arrow left or right, go to finish and reboot one more time. So here we go. We can close, minimize this, open a web page and browse our Pi. Bear in mind, this is not going to open straight away. It's going to give you an error message saying the service is down. Wait for a couple of minutes and try again. And here we go. The first time we enter Octoprint, we are presented with the wizard. And it's just a question of following the prompts. In this case, because it's a fresh install, I don't have anything on the SD card. Here is going to be the username and password for Octoprint. And create account. Next, we scroll down, enable the connectivity check. Sorry. Scroll down, it's enabled. Press next. Enable anonymous usage. It's enabled. Enable the blacklist for the plugins. Enabled. Now we name our printer and our profile. In my case, Elegoo Mars 2. Yours can be anything. And finish. On the upper right corner, you have an error message saying that the Pi 0 and Pi 0W don't have enough resources to work with Octoprint. It's my experience that for the purpose we are intending, it does work. It is slow. It does take a minute to process, but anyway, it works, and it works good. So we just close the window. We go to Tool Settings. we can come to Print Dialogs, Plugin Manager, we go to Get More and type Chituboard. There we go, press install and go for another cup of coffee. And here we go, all the installations are done. You can close all the windows and we can restart our Pi. Restart, and we're back. And the installation is done. Simply finish. And we should be good to go. In order to disable this message, you can follow the steps. So we go to Tools, Pi Support, disable the hardware message and save. Now this message won't show up again. Now to test our connection, as you can see I have a webcam, and I'm going to select the serial port. The baud rate is already correct, my profile, and I can save the settings and auto connect every time the Pi boots. So connect. And here we are. We are connected. Here, for the test, I can home, but bear in mind, each command we send takes about 30 to 45 seconds for the printer to process. So, you'll have to be patient. And it's coming. And as you can see, it does work. Thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful. On the next video, I will talk about attaching a relay to the Raspberry Pi in order to remote turn on or off your printer.